Hi everybody, hope you are all doing so well. I'm so excited. Here we are back for another Vinyl and Veneer episode 3. I know, I'm a lot, sorry about that. But today we have a band that I have seen live, a band that I do believe has given one of, if not the best musical live performance of all time. I can put the link below. I'm talking about the ladies, the beautiful Anne and Nancy Wilson of Heart, and we are going to dive in to their debut album, Dreamboat Annie. All right, so Dreamboat Annie was released in 1976, and it was released by Mushroom Records, which I think got either dissolved or was bought by Capitol, but Capitol now owns Mushroom, or whomever, made records under Mushroom. But they were kind of an indie label in British Columbia, I believe in Vancouver. And Heart was settled at that time, I believe, in Washington. And I guess it was Anne's boyfriend at the time, who kind of inspired some of the songs in here, who was also in the band, was trying to avoid going to Vietnam, so would jump over to Canada, and that's must have been kind of where they got some Canadian roots to be able to make this album. Now, this album, most of you probably maybe have heard some of Magic Man, definitely is played on the radio, but more than anything, Crazy on You. Crazy on You is a song that I think most people in their life have probably heard. It is one of more of the iconic songs from Heart, and this was on their debut album. So today though, for our makeup look, if I kind of listen to this as a whole collective album, it definitely has some tinges of rock, but there's also folk and kind of bluesiness. But Dreamboat Annie, kind of the song, the self-titled track, or not self-titled track, the album, the song based off of, what am I trying to say? Dreamboat Annie, the song that the album was named after, has a very kind of ethereal, water, easy, kind of just not celestial, but definitely just water and ease kind of flow vibes. You even hear like the waves crashing in there's 3 different versions of Dreamboat Annie on the album. But for my makeup look today, I want to do something very dewy, fresh, very, not clean per se, but just very dewy, very shiny, kind of ethereal. I think we're going to do very kind of light, not light on the eyes, because I'm still going to pack on shadow and stuff, but I want it just kind of like glitter and glisten and just shine all over. Just some beautifulness that I just adore, kind of a glowy, bright, beautiful shine. Yeah. But anyway, let's jump into the first track on the album, Magic Man. As I tell you about Magic Man, I am going to go in with some, I think I'm going to have to do, I'll do a little bit of eyeshadow primer, and then I'll probably go into my face primer, because I'm going to have to today do my complexion first, and then we'll do eyes, because my eyes won't be super involved today, so I'm not worried about much fallout. But Magic Man, this is a song that not only shows off how incredibly Anne can sing, but also how incredible Nancy is on the guitar. And it is one of those things that it kind of makes you wonder how many different challenges they came across as just being women. Obviously, Fleetwood Mac was popular at the time, definitely had male and female voices, but Heart was one that really just stuck to the female voice, and Anne took the lead vocal, Nancy was often the background vocal, and I do think 100% there is something special about either sisters or family when they sing together. The resonance and just the similarities of probably their head and their structure, there is something just beautiful about when you hear the harmonic duality between the voices. So now I'm going to pop into some e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer after I primed up my eyes. But Magic Man really, I think, sets the album off in such a way where you realize, like, oh, these ladies ain't kidding around. Like, they are truly rockers. They are truly women who are trying to make a place in this rock and roll world. Really with some heavy guitar riffing, great, just astounding vocals, and kind of closer to the end of the track, there's just a really cool breakdown of the guitar that just is so, so good. But yeah, I think probably more so than anything for me, because I love vocals so much, is I just love Anne's voice throughout the whole album, truly. But Magic Man, Crazy on You, there are definitely some times where you can just hear the natural, raw, grit, sexual energy that she has, and you're like, this chick is nothing but rock and roll. Like, she is rock and roll. All right, now that I have that face with the primer on, I think I'm gonna go in with kind of a product that I recently discovered, Oh Hi, from Urban Outfitters makeup, and I'm going to mix that into my CoverGirl Clean Fresh and really create a very luminous, dewy foundation. Oh wait, I gotta go wet my sponge first. Man, Ashley, I do forget things sometimes. I'll be back. The silly girl I am, I got my sponge all wet and ready to go. So I'm just going to mix in a little bit of my lovely clean, fresh CoverGirl foundation with some of the Oh Hi Illuminator, which I'll probably end up using also as a highlight, but I do want some of the brilliance right into the foundation as well. So just going to kind of mix that around on my hand, or if you have a palette to mix, definitely do that as well. So now we have an opener that is so strong, Magic Man. You are just kind of hit with this truly rock and roll energy. This, wow, this album is just something that I don't know if really was heard before, especially by women, you know, women headlining and being at the top of their rock and roll game. And I know Heart was very heavily influenced not only by the Beatles, but actually Led Zeppelin more than anything. And I think throughout this album, you can definitely hear the Zeppelin qualities of kind of how not only it's even produced, but just even within her vocal stylings, I hear a lot of similarities. And it's just, I think, that raw energy that really comes through when she sings. It's truly what I kind of epitomize with rock and roll. So now we have that really pretty kind of glow all on the skin, which is nice. I'm now gonna go in and conceal, and what is just, I think, let's see, what am I gonna use? Maybe I'll use some of my e.l.f. Camo Hydrating Concealer first, and then I'll go in with a lighter one as well, because this is a little yellowy tinge for me. But the second track on the album is our first hearing of Dreamboat Annie. And this one is really quick. This one maybe is like a minute or two long. It's a very quick track, but it does set the tone, I think, for the album of understanding what Dreamboat Annie kind of is about, because it has this very kind of, like I was saying, ethereal water on a boat, obviously, vibe to it. And it's you definitely start to hear the water at that point, along with a really pretty guitar riff that will come back, and you'll hear multiple points within the album. But then comes probably my favorite song. I know, pretty cliche. Our third song on the track is the one that, or on the album, is probably the one that everybody's heard, Crazy on You. And it just is Anne and Nancy going off. I mean, this is just them truly letting go and becoming hardcore rockers in this song. And I think, again, the thing that just drives me to it so much is not only how it's produced and the tempo and just the energy of everything working so well within the song, it's just her vocals are on fire in this song. You can hear the angst and the lust and the sexual chemistry of just her voice and her letting loose and really, again, very much just this rock and roll feel and vibe. All right, I'm gonna go in and add a little bit more concealer, a little bit brighter, go into my Age Rewind, which is a great concealer. Add some more under my eye and then over any blemishes that I kind of want to conceal. Now, I believe it was both Crazy on You and Magic Man that did so well from this album. I'm not sure if anything else hit the charts as well, or the radio mainstream wise, but I think this album really helped to cement Heart as, you know, women to not be messed with, as, you know, women that truly can rock. Now, after Crazy on You comes Soul of the Sea, which is kind of your first feeling, I think, in the album, a bit more of like this bluesy folkiness to the album that I feel like I hear in other tracks, definitely within the album, but I can hear today's music as well when I listen to people kind of like Joseph, if you've ever heard of them, another band that I really like, all-female group, First Aid Kit, kind of more of that indie pop folk vibe, which I do really enjoy and like, but I feel like Heart kind of set the stage for a lot of that in kind of this folky era of things. And I mean, you are headed, you're in the middle of the 70s. There is no better time to really explore folky music than then. All right, now I don't want to set anything quite yet. I want to add on, I have this cheek slime, which I think will work really well, which I also just recently reviewed along with the illuminator, but we're going to add both of these on and really get this kind of glossy, dewy beautifulness going, because I want to be shining like I am getting hit by beautiful, you know, rays bouncing off of the sea as I am flying high on Dreamboat Annie. Oh, I feel like there's a hair. There was Miko. So within this whole album, I think I've mentioned there are 3 of these Dreamboat Annie tracks, and the 5th track on the album is Dreamboat Annie, which I have grown to really like and appreciate, and I think is one of those that similarly fans of the band probably also have now really liked and have grown to enjoy more so, and have given it perhaps a bit more credit than original, or what other people kind of originally gave it. It's just a very beautiful kind of, you feel like you're at sea a little bit, for sure. There's kind of just this sway to it, this roll to it, per se. And it gives kind of just this, not simple, but just calming vibe overall, which is very then, not jarring, but it sends you on a really nice kind of overall difference between something like Magic Man and Crazy on You, which are very much at the height, along with probably Sing Child and White Lightning and Wine. Those are all very more so rock-based songs, and some of these other ones have more of this folky blues tone to them, and I really do enjoy the meld of all of them together, and I do think it actually fits quite well together. There are, I mean, if you're a fan of Heart, or if you kind of like Heart, you'll probably find like half of this album that you enjoy. I think I'm really drawn to it because I also enjoy very much folky kind of rock music, and I just love women that, you know, are rockers. Now I added on some of that cheek slime, and yes, glowing already, but now we're gonna go into the Oh Hi Illuminator and really get the cheeks shining. Here we are. Yep, I'm just going to continuously pack that all on to my upper cheek area. So Dreamboat Annie, the 5th track, I do believe is the one of Dreamboat Annie that I like best, because it is more so kind of the full fleshed out song. But I do like how the first Dreamboat Annie, which is Fantasy Child, is a bit more of Anne just kind of introducing you to Dreamboat Annie and a little bit more of her vocal stylings. Then the ending Dreamboat Annie is a bit more of kind of a slowed down, overall very circular, like very similar to a film of how you will replay or reprise a theme or an element. So after Dreamboat Annie is White Lightning and Wine, which I think was a pretty, maybe not controversial, because I don't know how many people really listened to this album that probably didn't like rock and roll or female rockers. But I feel like that could have been a controversial song at the time, because it really is about women going to a bar and just kind of letting loose, which I know, oh, man, women letting loose, how dare they? They need to be locked up at home and can't go out, right? Wrong. You know, the societal norms of what women should be doing. But then we have this song that's very much like, screw all that, I want to just get out of here, drink some, and just kind of let loose. I want to be able to just be free, in a sense. But this is definitely another song that is a bit more up-tempo, a bit more rock and roll, and just comes through a little bit more fun, I think, than some of the others, whereas Magic Man, Crazy on You, Sing Child are a bit, have a bit more of this depth and grasp of rock to them. I mean, White Lightning and Wine has rock too, but it's not, it has almost, not campy, but a bit more of kind of this fun feel to me than some of the other rock, really kind of heavily rock tracks on the album. Love Me Like Music, I'll Be Your Song is another one that is very beautiful, of kind of this bluesy era and sense and vibe, and I think blues is never given enough credit for how much it has influenced all of rock and roll, and that definitely, for Led Zeppelin, huge, and Heart, probably their closest, you know, relationship to music that you could see is Zeppelin. So the bluesiness of everything is really shown throughout this album in kind of more of these slower songs, and kind of some of the guitar riffs, and just hearing the album really makes sense, to me at least, of why it sounds like it. All right, so now we have kind of this beautiful shine going all throughout here, really glowy, really dewy. I want to add a little bit now of shadow onto my lids, and I think we are going to go into the Mercury Retrograde palette here, because this is very much kind of this Dreamboat Annie experience for me. I feel like Dreamboat Annie is very much kind of these dreamy, easy colors. So I'm first going to go into Momentum, which is our kind of lightest shade, just so I can add a bit on the highest point of my brow, and just kind of let that come down a little bit. So Sing Child is definitely one of the other kind of heavier rock songs, but it has even touches of other instruments like flute, and Anne actually is the one who's playing the flute, which I think is pretty dope. And the flute to me really reminds me of like Jethro Tull. There are moments in here that also give me prog rock vibes, of very almost like Yes feels of some of the kind of the, I'm not sure if it's like an oscillating kind of keyboard or a Rhodes kind of you know, organ or something, but there is definitely some prog rock kind of vibes as well, to some of the entire album actually. But I really like Sing Child for the flute part, and it really helps to play into the folkiness of everything within the album as well. Now I'm going to go into Off Balance, which is just a bit of a pink tone, and I'm going to put some of that right into my crease and really buff this out like to the extreme, because I think I'm going to have this glitz and glitter kind of go across my whole face. Okay, maybe not whole face, but I really want a very blown out look of this kind of shadow, and I think I'm gonna go into Cosmic as well, which is the kind of almost most ethereal shade to me within the palette. It's this beautiful light pinky shade, but I want to be able to put that all throughout. Like, I'm going to have it kind of just fade into everything, I think. So let's go into Cosmic and just kind of see what happens when I place it on the lid. But then I want to take it on my brush that I was using and also blend it into the crease and just kind of see what happens with that application and see if we'll get any sort of shine from it. Letting it go through the brow, this whole area. And I haven't set my under eye yet. If perhaps you need to, you could do that, but I'm gonna try to not set it for as long as I can to see if I need to add more highlight or blush on top of everything. So you can really see there is some very beautiful glow happening. So I'm gonna kind of repeat that on the other side. Dreamboat Annie, the last song, the reprise, slows it down a little bit, gives it a little bit more of this kind of guitar feel. And I believe there's even piano that enters into the track, which works obviously if you're slowing things down. And so, and even the track before that, How Deep It Goes, really slows things down as well and creates this real kind of ending of an album feel, which I always am appreciative of. And I think that's something that's really lost these days, is just obviously the whole making of an album and having the whole experience of an album, and going through all my albums with my dad and my mom. Well, not my albums, their albums. It's been really nice, and it's exciting to see them kind of look at their old tracks and their music. My dad said something like, yeah, you know, back in that day, you didn't really know what you were getting. You know, you didn't really know what you were essentially signing up for. I'm gonna go into off balance again and kind of bring back in perhaps a little bit more depth within my crease. Really kind of blow out, I think, some of off balance too. Let's really kind of get it out here. Back to the last Dreamboat Annie though. There are elements in that song that really give me Kansas, like Dust in the Wind vibes, and Kansas is another band that I think of kind of more folky rock, and I think some of the elements are very similar to what I hear within this album. And the album that actually has Dust in the Wind doesn't come out until the next year, 1977, so you never know, maybe they were a little bit influenced by Heart and what Heart was doing, which we all love when musicians are, you know, listening to each other and creating better music. At least I do. Alright, so we have that really blown out kind of pink, which I really wanted, which is nice. I kind of want to go in and add a bit more. I wonder if I want to add a bit more onto the lid of kind of like this supermoon color, which is a bit shinier, a little bit more iridescent, and perhaps can give us a little bit more of that wet kind of glow. Nice. But you can definitely see we have so much glow coming from obviously the shadow and from the blush and from the illuminator. I wanted this very dreamy, flowy experience. So I do think I want to set my under eye because I am getting some slight creasing. So I'm just going to go into my Laura Mercier powder, and I'm going to press out any of my creases that I have under my eye before I go in with any powder, because we do want still the luminosity of everything that we've had on this face. We don't want that to be all, you know, diminished. All our hard work diminished by some powder. Although Laura Mercier does have some kind of brightening qualities, but I think it does make everything a bit more mattified. But I don't want to mattify too much. But I'll go on my forehead, add a little, and on my chin. And we will also finish this with some setting spray, which will help bring back some of the dewiness into the entire look. I do want to go in just a little bit with bronzer, but not too heavy, just because I don't need super strong contour with this. I just kind of want the lightness of everything to come through. But let me pop on a little bit of that. All right, so I've added on some contour. I am happy with that. I want to do a little bit under my eye, but not too much because I don't want it to be heavy under my eye, but I do want to add a little bit of off balance, which is the pink shade. So I'm just gonna go under and kind of brush. Then in the inner corner, I also want to add some of Supermoon. Now I want to go into my brow styler, and I really want to get these brows up and kind of fluffed as best as I can, because I do think that's also kind of part of what I want in this look, is some fluffy brows. And you can see the difference definitely in tint, and then I've also brushed them up, so I think that helps heighten. But yeah, I have to say, I remember when I saw Heart live, they were the opening act for Def Leppard. I saw them in high school. I had just done kind of a project where I used their cover of, is it Raise Your Voice, Use Your Voice? I can't quite remember the name. I can put the name of the song below. But we were trying to find songs kind of about different war songs. And they did a cover of that song either for the Vietnam War, or it probably was the Korean War, one of those. Can't quite remember. Or maybe it was even the Gulf War. I can't remember what year they did the cover of the song, but I can put that below. But anyway, I was so excited to be able to see them, and they did not disappoint, and still honestly is so talented. Same with Nancy, guitar wise. I think what they did is not only create fantastic music, but they obviously opened up doors for so many women who wanted to be within rock and to show that women can rock just as hard. And it makes you wonder, because they were women, could they have gone farther? Could they have done more? Could they have had a better career if they weren't women? That's certainly something that I've kind of figured or thought of. We now have pretty much our whole kind of ethereal looking canvas here, which I definitely enjoy. I do want to go in though with the pen that I don't really like, my Lid Lick, because they said I could put this on my cheeks. So Freck definitely makes the freckle pen. So we're gonna make some light little freckles. Let me go in and add some of this Goddess Gloss from Almay, which is beautiful. It has different kind of purple and blue reflect, which I think will play pretty off of what we have going on the eye, and just this super ethereal look. Boy though, this has not my favorite scent. It's a little too sweet, and this might be a little too blue tinge. It's giving me a little bit more galactic vibes than what I kind of wanted, so let's go over that with a bit more. I don't know if this pink is going to help. We love mixing our glosses. We love mixing together. That's not bad. I think we'll stick with those two. This was Clinique's, is this watermelon or something? Rose Water Pop. Watermelon. It looks kind of watermelon-y though, but I do like that. So now I just need to add some mascara, and I am toying with, I think purple mascara could look really cool, but the purple mascara that I got ain't that good, so I'm just gonna go in with some black mascara, and then I will bring you back. Hi everybody. So I took my earrings off because I'm going to try to do a little pose, a little photo shoot of me, and try to put my pictures together to kind of create the cover that Anne and Nancy Wilson had for their thing. And if that works, I will put a picture so you can see it. But I do love how this looks. I obviously think this is very extreme. I don't think I would be extremely comfortable going out in public with all of this kind of shine on my face, but I do think it's pretty, and I think it will photograph beautifully. But yeah, that just about does it for this look. I really hope you go check out Heart, and maybe not even especially this album, although this album is fantastic. Just go check them out for all of the music that they've put out. They have put out so many albums. It is insane the amount of albums that Heart has put out that I haven't listened to. Dreamboat Annie, I maybe had listened to a couple of times before this in full, but I re-listened to this 3 times, and it truly is a beautiful work of art, and especially for a debut album for a female rock and roll group, amazing. There is nothing better than seeing women excel at a place that is for a man, quote unquote. We love when women succeed. All right, everybody, thank you again so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed my ethereal Dreamboat Annie vibes. You know, we on the sun, we are getting our Dreamboat Annie freckles, right? We on the sun, we are on our boat, and the sun is on us. You know what I mean, hopefully. But if you enjoyed this, feel free to check out my other ones. I have done one for Chromatica for Lady Gaga, along with Tina Turner, one of my most favorite artists of all time. Thank you so much for being here, everybody, and wherever you are and whatever you may be doing, I hope you are able to do something you love every single day. Bye, guys.